What's up, you sweaty nerds and greasy degenerates? So Black Swan's character preview just dropped, and that means we just got a whole lot of new information about Black Swan that we did not have before. That means that we're getting more information about her traces and even the abilities that they didn't tell us in the special programming. So this is very, very good news for all the Black Swan mains out there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the new information that we have that was not publicly available before, and it is very valuable information. I read at least her talent already, which is why we're going to read her talent first, because in my opinion, this is the most important part of her kit. Right here, this is the backbone of everything that she does. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Each enemy target has a chance at the start of each turn to be afflicted by a stack of Arcana for every instance of DOT sustained. When afflicted by Arcana, enemy targets will receive win DOT at the start of each turn. Each stack of Arcana increases the damage multiplier, which is then reset to 1 stack. There is a limit for the Arcana stacks. At the beginning of an enemy's turn, when Arcana causes damage, Black Swan will trigger additional effects that can be stacked based upon the number of Arcana stacks inflicted on a target. Over 3 stacks inflicts win DOT to adjacent enemies and has a chance of inflicting 1 stack of Arcana to adjacent targets. Over 7 stacks, the DOT inflicted this time ignores a certain percentage of the defense of both the target and adjacent targets. Let's read that last part again. Over 7 stacks, the DOT inflicted this time ignores a certain percentage of the defense of both the target and adjacent targets. Black Swan has Defense Shred built into her own kit. This is incredibly powerful, and this is something that, you'd see on a sub-DPS character, which is what we suspected of her the whole time, and that is what we're getting confirmation of right now. All of this information pretty much says to me that despite the fact that she's a sub-DPS character, she might have enough damage of her own that she might possibly be able to be run without Kafka. Now, I wouldn't go ahead and just start pulling on Black Swan if you don't have any other DOT characters built, but obviously wait for proper in-person testing to be done before you start pulling on a character like this. Unless you already have Kafka, then you're set and ready to go. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other effects, but she's got a lot of Arcana stacks that she can get applied through her talent and other things. So she's going to end up dealing a ton of damage, but it's not going to be right off the rip. She's going to definitely be a somewhat of a slower character, but when the damage goes off, it's going to be a lot of damage because the multipliers are going to stack up thanks to Arcana. There's also DOTs that are stacking up. It's going to practically be the HyperBloom of Honkai Star Rail. This is, in my opinion, the closest thing to HyperBloom that you can get in Honkai Star Rail because it's just going to be very, very powerful. And once you get your initial attacks, you just have to wait for their turn, and it's going to be a lot of damage. So let's look at the traces. After using the skill to hit an enemy that has Wind Shear, Bleed, Burn, or Shock, each of these debuffs, respectively, has a chance of inflicting 1 extra stack of Arcana. So, like I said, you have all these opportunities to get Arcana, and these end up helping with your multipliers, etc. And it is considered to be a different DOT effect than Wind Shear itself. So this does apply to the DOT sets, 3 separate DOTs that you want applied. So this is very, very good, very, very good news, and it does work with her skill. Let's take a look at the other trace here, which works with her talent. There is a chance to inflict 1 stack of Arcana when a target enters battle. Every time an enemy target receives a DOT during a single target or a single attack by an ally, there is a chance for the target to be inflicted with 1 stack of Arcana. There is a limit to the number of Arcana stacks that can be inflicted on an enemy in a single attack. So basically, you clear a wave of enemies, and when the new wave comes in, every single one of those enemies has a chance to receive Arcana. That's cracked. That's really, really, really strong. Black Swan's looking like she's going to be a powerhouse. So let's take a look at this other trace here. It increases the damage dealt by this unit by an amount equal to a certain percentage of effect hit rate up to a certain limit. So, like we've all been saying, you're going to want really, really high effect hit rate on your Black Swan in order to be able to deal the most damage. So just be aware of that Black Swan's own personal damage will be directly affected by her effect hit rate, but that's not a problem because you already want really high effect rate on, or effect hit rate on her, so that she has chances to permanently guarantee that she gets these Arcana stacks on the enemies. You want these Arcana stacks to hit every single time. You want all of her effects to hit every single time, and there's a base chance for all of them. You have high enough effect hit rate, you guarantee that they will drop. You have high enough effect hit rate, you're guaranteeing that she's going to be dealing a lot of damage. So again, effect hit rate might be her most important stat. So let's go ahead and take a look at her skill. Let's take a look at her technique since it's here. At the beginning of the next battle, there's a chance to inflict a stack of Arcana on each enemy. If Arcana is successfully inflicted on any enemy, this effect will be repeated on the affected enemies until it fails to inflict Arcana on any of them. What the fuck? The re-trigger chance of inflicting Arcana will be lowered with each successful Arcana inflicted on the target. Dang, so she just gets to cheat? How come when we're pulling for characters, we don't get re-triggers of our drops, huh? How about that? Holyverse, huh? Anyways, let's take a look. Oh, basic attack. You already know that her basic attack's pretty much normal, but she has a very special basic attack. It deals wind damage to a single target enemy with a chance of inflicting 1 stack of Arcana, and if the hit target currently has wind shear, bleed, burn, or shock applied to them, each respectively has a chance of additionally inflicting 1 extra stack of Arcana onto the enemy. There is a possibility that she can literally put 2 stacks of Arcana on an enemy with a basic attack, okay? Again, you're going to want really high effect hit rate on her because she can do really great things with even just a simple basic attack. So keep that all in mind. Let's go take a look at her skill. Where is it? Deals wind damage to a single target enemy and any adjacent targets. At the same time, there's a chance of inflicting 1 stack of Arcana on the target enemy and the adjacent targets. And there is a chance of reducing the defense of the target enemy and the adjacent targets, lasting for a certain number of turns. Boom! She's got defense shred on her talent and on her skill. Ooh, baby! That sounds amazing. So yes, build super high effect hit rate on your Black Swan. That's her most important stat in my opinion, because you need all of her kit to work properly in order to maximize her potential. It won't work properly unless you have super high effect hit rate. So keep all of that in mind. Now let's take a look at her ultimate. Applies Epiphany on all enemies for a certain number of turns. Enemies affected by Epiphany take more damage in their turn, and their Arcana effect is regarded as wind shear, bleed, burn, and shock effects. In addition, when their Arcana effect is triggered at the beginning of the next turn, the Arcana stacks are not reset. The stack non-reset effect can be triggered up to 1 time in Epiphany's duration, and its charges are replenished when Epiphany is applied again. It deals wind damage to all targets. So this isn't just some super duper cool AoE. This has a multitude of effects. Let's unpack it again. Applies Epiphany on all enemies for a certain number of turns. Enemies affected by Epiphany take more damage in their turn. So she has Arcana, she has Epiphany, and the Arcana effect is regarded as wind shear, bleed, burn, and shock effects. Not or, it's and. In addition, when the Arcana effect is triggered at the beginning of the next turn, the Arcana stacks are not reset. So she basically says, so how do I explain this? So the Arcana stacks are normally supposed to go down to 1, but when you ult with her, they don't reset. So they keep the Arcana stacks, and this means the damage multipliers are increased, and this also means the defense shred attached to her talent also does not reset. So she becomes a DPS and a support unit at the same time, as long as you keep her ult active very, very often. So yeah, she's going to be a powerhouse. She's going to be absolutely powerful. There's nothing else I can really say about that. I'll be putting out a build guide for her very soon. I'll be putting out a video for her light cone as well. When that drops, it should be dropping pretty soon here. DOT is relevant once again. I'll see you in 2.0. If you thought this was interesting or helpful in any way, shape, or form, consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.